Hello everyone, and you're watching Bitcoin Bubble news channel. If you only see Bitcoin node holders, miners, developers, and a few whales as people, then you'll probably get into heated arguments about transaction fees or the protocol. There is another way to look at things though. There are 8 billion people in the world. There are millions and millions of businesses. There are tens of thousands of real governments. Tens of thousands of forms have been sent in. There are a lot of different ideas. It works for everyone too with Bitcoin. This will be used by everyone one day. Layer 2, 3, and 4 can all fail, but the environment has to keep going. That's the most important thing to remember. We need to basically make Bitcoin work. I might not be successful, neither will my company nor will my ideas, but the world is a better place because Bitcoin is successful. In this movie, Michael Saylor gives a very clear picture of how Bitcoin has changed the world. Michael Saylor strongly believes that Bitcoin's ability to replace bad money could be the greatest thing that people have ever done. Think about this. If you buy 0.001 Bitcoin today, it might be enough to buy one house by 2044. It's a deep thought, but Saylor's deep understanding makes it possible. To the problems with standard fiat currencies, which lose their value over time and become less valuable. He thinks that Bitcoin will solve the problems that people, families, businesses, and even independent states have with their money. Michael Saylor thinks that Bitcoin is not just another treasure. It's a revolutionary force that could set up a free, deflationary banking system for the whole world. We'll be adding more interview clips soon. Please help us reach more people by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Make sure you turn on post alerts so you can always see our newest posts. Feel free to leave your ideas and observations in the box below. Thanks and have fun with the movie. A lot of the time I see people in the community who understand this in the wrong way. It's like they think they need to overthrow a government, attack a person, or fight a policy in order for Bitcoin to work. They could just say Bitcoin is good though. There is no chance at all that you will win the other 100 arguments. There will be more of the other 100 arguments. You are only going to make 100 different kinds of enemies. On the other hand, you could say that Bitcoin is like the universal money that helps everyone, the person, the family, the small business, the medium-sized business, the large business, the regulated business, the monopoly, the city, the state, the country, the good countries, the bad countries. The good religions, the bad religions, the good people, the bad people, and everyone else. You might believe in self-custody and keep your own keys. You might also be hodling and think, I will never buy the spot ETF. That's great. That seems fine. We need you. These other people who are making this other Bitcoin backed goods in a different way will also help you. They're not against you. In the end, they'll be your friend because they'll make your product more scarce. They might store it in a way that you don't like, but during the day they'll be sending billions, then tens of billions, then hundreds of billions of dollars worth of economic power to the network. This will make your asset go up in value, giving you more freedom and economic power. It's up to you. When your Bitcoin is worth 10 million Bitcoin, you can build your own township and citadel, live however you want, and even make your own rocket ship and visit your own world. And run the country the way you want. But you need to get the money first, right? To begin, growth is made in societies where people have the economic power to make things happen. I could give you hundreds of examples from history, but most of the time it wasn't the poor peasants who started a change that helped the people. Someone with a lot of money really did help the common people. And the end result was good for everyone, but there was always an economic player behind it. If you think about it, I don't think you would want to change the system in a way that makes people less likely to join the network, and you kind of don't want to get into fights you don't need to. For example, you might dislike banks. Maybe you believe that everyone should have their own bank, but what if Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger had decided? Berkshire Hathaway bought $30 billion worth of Apple stock, and it went up in value to $150 billion, making them $120 billion on the trade. And that made more money for Berkshire Hathaway than anything else the company has ever done. And that choice was made by someone who worked for Warren Buffett. So when they decide to buy $30 billion worth of Bitcoin, and you don't like big companies, and when they store it with JP Morgan, when Warren Buffett tells JP Morgan, I want $30 billion worth of Bitcoin. Please hold it. Jamie Dimon would say, okay, well, I guess it's not just for criminals since Warren Buffett and Bill Gates want it. Then he calls someone at his bank and they decide to start a custody business. It then costs 3 times as much to buy Bitcoin. As you watch, you'll think, damn it, those stupid Berkshire Hathaway people just made $100 billion in 3 months. It doesn't seem right. On the other hand, everyone else in the Bitcoin environment will make a huge amount of money at the same time. In that way, it's kind of fair. In other words, a growing tide makes all boats rise. You'll say, well, I guess these people weren't really against me after all, they just didn't get it. You could also say that they are afraid of something they don't understand because they grew up without it and are used to horse-drawn carriages and steam power in the middle of their building. They're not really ready for this. And if you just say that and wait, you'll be like, Bitcoin is not against anyone, so I don't have to say that. When you have to reject someone directly or their business, you make the situation more difficult than it needs to be. Someone asks me, what do you think about this point? I tell them, well, one day they'll love it when the person who bought Apple doesn't buy it. The person who bought Apple will buy $30 billion worth of Bitcoin and make $100 billion. He's only going to do victory laps that they'll take credit for being smart. It's going to happen anyway, and it won't happen because people have been yelling for 10,000 hours. It will happen because one guy will look and say, okay, I guess I get it. If BlackRock and Fidelity like it, I guess we should too, and they'll make a little more. After that, someone will say, hey, I think we should do it. It will be the same with all banks in the end. It's going to be spread out like electricity. We say that everyone is against something before they're for it, just like with steel and buildings, gasoline-powered cars, and jet planes. Right now, I think that if you look at Bitcoin as a whole, you could say that it's for everyone and every kind of organization. There are only two types of people in the world, those who see the value in Bitcoin and are working to become more integrated with it, and those who don't see it yet but will. That's kind of how the world is split up. It might take 30 or 40 years for everyone to go from being skeptical or unaware of technology to fully accepting it, but it will happen. In addition, it's good for us to be positive and happy. Always smile and say, it's just a protocol that can make your life better, the lives of your citizens better, your shareholders happy, your customers happy, and everyone delighted. This will make everyone you meet hate Bitcoin and think it's only for criminals. I only need to show you how. After Galen, no one knew how blood moved through the body for 1,000 years. He was also the one who finally figured out that the heart moves blood through the vessels and then back through the veins. In 1,000 years, it was the most important step forward in medicine. Harvey then said, the heart actually pumps the blood through the body. It shocked everyone. The most famous thing Harvey said was, no doctor over the age of 40 will ever believe me. People over the age of 40 will never believe that the heart pumps blood again. That's a big change, a new idea. It takes time for people. That's where I think Bitcoin is now. In the first place, I think we're teachers.